Happy holidays, folks. I'm your host, Spooky Guy, and today we're going to be doing a Christmas special of sorts. Now, I know I've been a little absent for a little bit. I'm sorry. After October, it was such a busy month. As you guys know, I was spitting out content a lot. I had a lot to do. I even did last-minute videos. So I've been a bit busy for the month of October. I wanted to take a break for a little bit. But I realized, hey, Christmas is coming up. I might as well do a holiday special. I don't know what to review, but I thought, hey, let's do a holiday special. I wanted to actually try doing a Halloween Christmas too, but it didn't look like it was in my future, so I just decided to do last minute, once again, a Christmas-themed movie, sort of. The movie we're going to be talking about today is none other than Night Killer. Now, Night Killer is a 1990 Italian horror film written and directed by Sir Claudio Fragasso. You know, the guy who did Troll 2, who wrote Shocking Dark. That Claudio Fragasso. It was also co-written by his wife Rosella Drudy, and together they created a psychological horror film of sorts. Not really so much a horror film, but a psychological thriller. What Fragasso had wanted to do with the film was create a psychological thriller about a guy stalking a woman. And the idea sounds pretty good. Fragasso and Drudy's longtime filmmaker friend Bruno Mattei came in, or he was more so asked to come in and shoot additional gore scenes. So the first 7 minutes, 8 minutes were shot by Mattei. And this scene was, to me, probably the best part of the movie, and it wasn't even originally part of the movie, but I always thought it was a cool scene. Now, when I initially found out about this movie, I thought it was about a monster, and I was a little disappointed to find out it wasn't, but when I actually sat down and watched the movie, I found myself really liking the movie. Of course, though, for the only time before the Severin Blu-ray came out in June of 2019, the only way you could watch this movie was through VHS bootlegs, and honestly, I couldn't find a good one anywhere, and I had this thing where I was like, I'll buy this movie if it comes out on Blu-ray, and little did we know, about a year later, here was the Blu-ray. I knew this movie was probably going to come out on Blu-ray because Severin the year before had released Shocking Dark, Zombie 4, Zombie 3, so I knew it was only a matter of time before we saw Mattei's Robo-War and Fragasso's Night Killer on a Blu-ray format. Still waiting on Strike Commando 1 and 2, but this movie was also called Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Not sure if that makes sense. Now, the year prior, when Bruno Mattei did Shocking Dark, the movie was marketed as Terminator 2 in several areas, and this title, while it's a little absurd because it's more of an Aliens ripoff, it still makes sense because it's a sci-fi movie that involves a killer cyborg of some sorts. So the Terminator 2 title isn't far-fetched, but this movie being called Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 makes no damn sense in any stretch of the imagination. Well, okay, in Italy, the franchise, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, was called Non aprite quella porta, which translates to do not open the door, or something like that. And so in that context, it makes maybe a little more sense than it does, but here in the US, it's called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so labeling this film as Part 3, especially the same year as the real Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 came out, that must have been confusing. However, though, I don't believe this movie hit US markets until last year, 2019, so yeah, I'm mad at myself for skipping on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 slipcovers. Alright, now let's get to the actual movie. So the movie is about this guy. He wears a Freddy Krueger type rubber mask. He has these claws, rubber claws, and he's going around killing these girls. The woman who is attacked is Melanie Beck, and she ends up in the hospital and then ends up leaving a little bit after. And these two detectives, one of them looks like Dr. Loomis, and they're both on this case, and they tried doing a little trick. There's a lot of newscasters in this movie, two of which are cameoed by Claudio Fragasso and Bruno Mattei. So apparently Melanie has suffered amnesia, so she can't remember who this killer is. She can't remember who the Night Killer is. This is unfortunate for the characters because now there's a huge case around it, and the whole movie wants you to believe that this guy is the Night Killer. And while it perfectly seems like that for a while, that is definitely not the case. Nearing the last 5 minutes of the movie, it is revealed to be this guy. So, Axel here kills him, and that's that. The movie does end on a cliffhanger, almost inspired by Halloween 4, where the girl puts on the mask and she starts saying,
"Do you recognize me, Mrs. Stick? I'm back. Just for you. Just for you."
It's almost like she's become the next Night Killer. There's no Night Killer 2. Overall, Night Killer is a fun movie, and given that it's by Claudio Fragasso, the guy who brought us Troll 2, one can imagine, does this movie have the same crazy energy as Troll 2?
Why, grandmother, what a big slung you have.
Yes, it does. I think you'll be pleased to know that. I do like Night Killer. It's a fun, entertaining movie. It doesn't really leave you boring. I mean, some parts are a little slow. But for the most part, it's a fun and entertaining movie with wacky dialogue and things that make no sense.
Hey, bud, what happened to your clothes?
I got molested in the little boy's room.
Of course, the added gore scenes by Bruno Mattei add a layer of fun, because the scenes added by Mattei are actually kind of cool. The killer uses the same tactic of punching through torsos, and if this is supposed to be some normal guy, I don't find that possible at all. It's a little out there, and some kills make no sense. Like the continuity's terrible. There's and this is the problem with adding in gore scenes, is because if you're adding into already made footage by someone else, there's going to be continuity and you have to match it up. Okay, what was with Mattei desperately trying to match the continuity of the stolen footage in Cruel Jaws, but he won't match up continuity here in Night Killer? It's a little questionable. Now, of course, there's a story with that. Once Fragasso and Judy found out that Mattei added footage, they were actually really mad with him, and unfortunately this did end their friendship for a little bit. And really, at the end of the day, you know whose fault it really was? Producer Franco Gaudinzi's fault. Yeah, he was the one who requested that the added gore be shot. He wanted a movie that was gory. He wasn't happy with what Fragasso sent in. I would say the added gore adds humor, but at the same time, like I said, the continuity messes with it, and in one kill, it doesn't need it. I think you actually get a bigger effect without the stomach punch being there.
No! No!
Like that, you know, that's just my opinion. I think it benefits a movie in a way. It kind of makes it a little more entertaining, a little more monotonous. It adds another crazy layer to this already crazy movie. There's not really much else about Night Killer I can say other than that it's a fun, entertaining 80s slasher movie, sort of. And there's a lot of sequences I would have cut out. Some of them are, I wouldn't say uncomfortable. There's one sequence I genuinely am uncomfortable with. I don't like it, and it goes on too long, and if you cut that completely, it affects nothing. It literally affects nothing. You're just missing a portion of the movie that I would rather you miss. And that's really the only thing I could say I didn't like, is some scenes I'm not a fan of. I think it goes on too long, and it's very unnecessary sometimes. But that's just me. If you're interested in these Italian horror films from the late 80s, I recommend you go out and watch this. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you like Troll 2, I would recommend you watch this and give it a shot. If you don't, that's fine. You know, look for another movie. It's fine, totally fine. But if you are interested, seek this out. You can find it on streaming services such as Tubi, or support Severin and buy the Blu-ray itself. You won't be disappointed. You get 2 great interviews with Claudio and Rosella, and you get some interesting insight on the movie, both of which do cover the Bruno Mattei incident with the film, and you also get some interesting stories from both sides, being the director and the writer. And those interviews are really worth watching. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of history with this movie. Now, when I first discovered Troll 2 and I wanted to look more into Claudio Fragasso's filmography, I did come across this movie under its Italian title, and it grabbed my curiosity because it used the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 poster, but I wasn't sure like what it was all about. And this movie was almost non-existent for a long time. When I looked it up on YouTube, there was no full movie. No trailer, no nothing. Not even screenshots. I could only find like 5 screenshots, and it was so confusing. And at the whole time, I wanted to see this Claudio Fragasso movie about a monster. Again, like I thought this movie was about a monster. And I don't blame anyone for thinking that by watching the opening scene. You would think this is about a monster, but it's not. Now, going back to the name thing, and if you're going to call it a fake sequel, why not call it Nightmare on Elm Street 6? That would have made total sense. The character is almost like Freddy Krueger in a way. Outside of looks. Besides visuals, the character's a lot like Freddy in a way. He's creepy, he's stalkerish, and a little too creepy. But regardless, Night Killer's a fun little slasher. Now, why am I reviewing this movie on Christmas? I feel like I should have answered that a long time ago. Well, the reason why I'm talking about it during Christmas is because there is a Christmas atmosphere to this movie. The movie was clearly shot in the winter, and in the background you can see multiple Christmas decorations. In one scene you can even see Christmas party signs, and at the end of the movie is totally Christmas. There's a Christmas tree, it's a Christmas present, and it's got Christmas atmosphere sprinkled in here and there. While the atmosphere isn't definitely trying to be Christmas, it's definitely a Christmas seasoned film. It's like Jaws the Revenge. It's set at Christmas and you got some decorations here and there, but that's not necessarily the prime focus. It's like Die Hard, but that's another discussion that I don't want to get into. Well, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but before you go, I do want to say real quickly, follow my Twitter and Instagram. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. You can also see the words somewhere on the screen. And before you go, I do want to say I am doing another video that's going to be regarding all of my 2021 topics. Well, maybe not all, but some plans I have for 2021. Had 2021 go successful, hopefully it does. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be your guys' Christmas present from me to you as my 2021 sort of kind of schedule at the moment. Of course, there will probably be more additions as we go on, but little updates and stuff, so keep your eyes open for that one. I love all of you, and have a happy, safe holidays.
I'm gonna eat. Nothing does it to me like fried chicken.